Oh, look at there. Let's do this again. I have no idea what I'm doing now. We're going to start over. I have no idea what I did. I'll fix it. Let me see what I got to do here. Watch this. How about that? Cole, you just have to cut all this out. I hit 2 buttons. Just hang on a second. I'll get it fixed, and then I'll start up.
We already got people in here.
I know. They're hanging out. They'll figure it out. We'll be all right. We'll have to get used to you, boy. We'll start the full. We'll edit it out in just a second. It'll be fine. This is why I'm not a producer.
This is where you need like Cole.
Yeah, Cole's great. All right, got that part. I just want that to go away. We're about to watch this. How about that? Close enough.
There we go. Yeah.
We'll get a couple of these out of here, and then we'll have fun. It's just gonna have to do today. It's just gonna have to freaking do today. I have no idea why I'm landscape, but hey, it is what it is. It's just gonna have to do today.
Let's move the rain over here.
You don't want the rain can on top of your head? How about that?
Yeah. Yeah.
How about that?
Well, it's good.
All right.
I'm like on a delay, huh?
Should be a little bit, not much, about 10 seconds. How about this? Welcome in to episode 340 of McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. Oh, that was a good one. I am Tyler Siskey, joined today by the 3-time world champ, the 3-time national champ, and the new head football coach of the Birmingham Stallions, AJ McCarron. How we doing, sir?
Good.
I appreciate everybody. AJ joining us today, being the co-host today, joining us today. I will apologize in advance for my producing skills. I'm not a producer. Neal's usually on the ones and twos. Neal is on his way to Fayetteville. We hope he's being safe and gets back safely. He's doing the car switcheroo with Carson and trying to get back before he gets stuck. So thank everybody for joining us today. And AJ, as I haven't glanced over there yet, but I'm sure they're making fun of me because of my producing skills. The Kia of Meridian chat is already bumping. If you're looking for a fresh start in the brand new ride, Kia of Meridian is kicking off 2026 with deals you can't miss. Right now, you can get 0% financing for 48 months on every 2025 Kia Telluride in stock. If you need an affordable third row, why not get you a Telluride? Or you can drive the Kia Sorento for just $569 a month. AJ, if you're feeling a little fresh and you need some soul in your life, you know what you can do? You can get that Kia Soul for $379 a month, or that K4 for $394 a month. So don't wait. Visit Kia of Meridian today. And AJ, it's been a while since you've been on here. But do you remember what happens when you go to Meridian and you tell Trav, I want to get in that Telluride. I want to get all up in that Telluride. He's going to say, but pull it on out first and let me spin the wheel. And win awesome prizes like a PS5, an Xbox, a TV, and more. So check them out at Kia of Meridian. We're also brought to you by the official RV dealer, McCready and Siskey. Who is that, you may ask, AJ? That's County Line Campers. Our good friend Rob and Destiny and all the folks down at County Line Campers, they know that you're tired of vacation. And you know what? It's great that you're on here today, because here in about a month, you're gonna be looking for a new home. You're gonna be looking for somewhere to sleep. Why not take your home with you, AJ? Why don't you just get it right behind your McLaren? Is that what you got? One of your fancy cars. Get you a fifth wheel and pull it on down I-20, I-10 down to Arlington. And right now, because they're running a brand new RV sale at County Line Campers. And so you take your McLaren, you hit I-10, you stop at exit 38 right there in the metropolis of Gulfport. Rob's going to get you hooked up. That's right. You can buy the camper and he's going to get your first trip paid for free. It's like buying the grill and throwing in the steaks. You know what I mean? I mean,
Mm,
you get what you want. So make sure
mm.
you stop by County Line Campers. You can go on the website, AJ, at countylinecampers.com to view all the deals. And don't forget to follow them on social media, wherever that may be. How about that? Whether it be on
How about that?
YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter,
Facebook.
Facebook, all of them.
Yep.
Check them out at countylinecampers.com. How about that?
How about that?
Yeah, I'm look. I mean, it's no you. Now we're just doing this in real life. I'm short and fat, and you're skinny and tall. We're just doing this in real life today. That's what we're doing on the show. All right, I've done something with a camera. I don't know. I apologize to anybody that's having to watch this today. Just listen, close your eyes and listen, or look at AJ. He's the good looking one anyway. All right, here we go. No Diddy and pause. All right, AJ, get you right into it. I got it's been a minute. You know, we had you on when you were going to be the head football coach when you got announced to be the head football coach of the Birmingham Stallions. You've been through a lot. And so, what I want to ask you, be good to fill in the people here. I'm curious, you know. I mean, I don't ever get to talk to you anymore. I just say hey to you
Yeah.
every once in a while. But you've been a head coach for 35 days now. Probably feels like 36, 35 years, but you've been a head coach for 35 days now. I always like to ask this to guys that just get started as a head coach. I think it's interesting. What's one thing, like you've become a head coach, what's one thing since becoming a head coach in the last 35 days that's kind of surprised you, or you were kind of like, what's surprised about being a head coach? Maybe something you didn't know about or think about, because you've gone through pretty much everything in the last 35 days. So what's one thing that kind of took you off guard?
I think nothing's ever in concrete.
Oh, a
that
little bit of
that's one
this, a
thing
little bit of that.
yeah, that's one thing I feel like we've both learned um, with the UFL, which is understandable, comes with it. We kind of, I told you how it was going to be, and then, but also under new leadership, it's trying to figure out a certain way Rapoli wants everything done, and so I'd probably say that more than anything. But I mean, hell, I've had fun. I thought, you know, preparing for the draft was freaking awesome. Thought we killed it and did a great job in the draft, and getting the guys that we wanted, shit, on both sides of the ball. So, and then we've done really well in free agency, adding some other key guys, to fill in some spots, and we're steady working. So it's been awesome.
Yeah, it's been good. No, it's my favorite thing always, for those who don't know, is I'll often go, so you want to be a head coach, huh? You wanted to be a head coach, huh? I always laugh. It's like, and it makes sense. It really does. You know, Coach Saban would always say, I can handle good news, I can handle bad news, but I can't handle surprises.
Yeah,
And when, definitely you're going through it, it's like every phone call, it's like if it's not bad news, it's just dealing with, okay, it's just your
it's a
professional
surprise.
firefighter. Yeah, yeah. It's your professional firefighter. It's something
Right.
when your phone rings as a head coach, because as you probably have figured out, I really don't bother you unless it's something that, hey, you need to know this,
Hmm.
because I know you're getting, you're building a team from scratch, dealing with free agencies, dealing with draft picks, everything that goes involved, building out staff, hiring people, all that stuff that goes into it. So I try not to bother you unless it's something. I always have and Kevin Steele taught me this. Kevin Steele was always like this with dealing with Coach Saban, and I don't know if you knew this or not, but from a staff standpoint, is like the job that I had at Alabama, right? I was what we call the top of the funnel. So all the shit that needed to get to Coach Saban would would get dropped in the top of that funnel. But Coach Saban was at the bottom of the funnel. So
Hmm.
whatever came out the bottom of the funnel needed to be pure and be simple. And this, like, I would try to firefight it all the way down and tell, hey, coach, this is, and so instead of throwing the big picture stuff on him
Right.
all the time, because that's all you get all day long. And
Mhm.
I mean, just today, I know you've dealt with free agency. We've done offense, dealt with free agency. You've dealt with league. You've dealt with schedule stuff. I mean, press. You've had 2 different shows today. This is third show today. So you're doing press. You're doing everything, and just trying to keep it pure. So I know it's a lot. All right, of the day, the big news of the day, AJ, is today, Thursday, January 22nd. The UFL released their schedule. I didn't know if you've
Mhm.
seen this or not yet. Okay, so I want to let you know, since I know you probably haven't seen it, or looked at it, that the Birmingham Stallions official schedule has been released. Shout out to our girl Heather, who does all the
Mm.
social media and all that stuff. She
She's the
sent
best.
she's the best. She sent me the calendar schedule. I'll post it. I think Cole's posted it on social media, but for all the people on the board, Neal's board and stuff, I'll post that. I would do the links here, but I'm afraid I'll shut the whole system down because I'm not on MPW Digital's deal. But we'll get the link up for season tickets and all that stuff. We got the link sent to us today, so we'll get that up. But AJ, you open the season March the 27th, or should I say, we open the season March
Yeah, I was about to
27th
say.
on the road against the Louisville Kings in Louisville, Kentucky, Friday night.
Yep.
That'll be a Fox game, I imagine, huh? So Friday nights for Fox games, is that correct?
Hell, your guess is as good as mine.
Sounds good. It's
Yes.
going to be on
Yeah.
Fox.
I'm
Sounds
pretty
great.
sure it is Fox.
All right.
Yeah, open up against Chris Redmond and his staff, and it's a new team, new um, atmosphere, new venue, just new everything, and that'll be a fun one. It's awesome to be the, I guess, first game of the year, or the night game um, of that opening weekend.
We,
So
we got to talk to Mother Nature and see if we can't be having 5-degree weather on the first game. We got to,
yeah, I don't really want that. I'd like just a nice,
let's go. Hey, let's call it, it's March
upper
27th, 7
50s.
o'clock. Let's call it like 62 and clear.
Yeah, upper 50s, low
Yeah.
60s, and clear. That'd be great. Um, but yeah, we that'll be a great one. Excited, to get the season going.
One interesting fact for all Birmingham Stallions fans. We opened the season on the road for 3 consecutive weeks. They're trying to get us with that pro thing, the second week and the third week. They're trying to get us, but they're not going to get us there. We're going to be mentally tougher than everybody else. We're going to push through it. But going to Houston Gamblers week 2, and then AJ McCarron makes his return to St. Louis to take on the St. Louis Battlehawks week 3. I'm sure that'll be on national TV. Um,
Yeah.
that'll be on one of them. And then the good news is, though, we got 5 of our last 7 at home. So finished the season 5 of the last 7 at home, played 2 in a row at home, go on the road, 2 in a row, road and back home. So 5 of the last 7 at home. So that's a good way to end the season. But overall opinion, overall excitement from the head coach of the Birmingham Stallions, your overall opinion on the Stallions UFL schedule.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I like, you know, I mean, it's not the most ideal thing being on the road three weeks in a row, but at the same time, you get to see what your team's made of. You're going to play in, a packed out, probably Louisville stadium. I think holds about 13,000. Not
First game,
sure
too, they'll
from
be
a
fired up.
yeah, first game they'll be fired up. Not sure about the Houston part of it. Um, you know, I know their crowds have varied in the past. St. Louis, third week, will go on the road. They'll have close to 40,000 people. It'll be loud. It'll be rocking. The fact that it's my return there for the first time in a year, 2 years, whatever it is, and then to open up the home stretch or the first home game of the year, we got Anthony Beckton and his Orlando Storm coming in. So um, it'd be awesome to have a lot of people there in Protective for that one, and that'll be a great game. Then the DC Defenders after that at home in Week 5 again. Um, Great matchup, defending champs, and then on the road to play Orlando Storm and Beck again. in week 6, week 7 at home versus the Dallas Renegades, week 8 at home versus the Columbus Aviators, week 9. See, this is a little tricky. Played the Columbus Aviators 2 weeks in a row. So that's a little different.
A little different. I don't think
Yeah,
I've done that before. I don't think I've ever played back-to-back weeks. I know you have. I know we
I
were talking
have.
about that earlier.
Yeah.
You did
Done
it.
it in this league a
Have you
couple
ever done it in a
times.
regular season though?
Yeah, we did. We played I don't know, because we played them. Yeah, I don't know if I have in the regular season. I'd have to go back to my first year. Second year, in St. Louis, we played San Antonio in the last game of the year, so week 10, and then we played them to open up the first or the XFL championship the very next game. So that was different, and then we'll close out the season at home week 10 versus Houston again. So,
You know what my thoughts on the schedule are?
what?
Spot the fucking ball. Let's go.
Yeah,
Who we playing?
I like it.
Spot the fucking ball. I don't care if we play them on the fucking moon, the parking lot, in the stadium. Spot the ball. I'll let you worry about all that stuff because you got to get in front of the cameras. Spot the fucking ball. Let's go play.
I like it.
That's how we want to play the same team 10 times. Spot the ball. Let's go play.
Makes
Ready to
hey,
break?
we
Ready to
can
break?
have everybody with that mindset. Makes my job easier. So
Well, you got one. You got one in the boat. Now we just got to get what
yeah,
seven. We got seven, about 70 other folks. You've been good business. You've been ready to go.
yeah, yeah.
All right. Hey, appreciate you, Austin, for the super chat. He says, "Hey guys, I haven't heard either of you talking about this since it got posted. Okay, thoughts on NASCAR going back to the OG chase format? Will it help?" Austin, I'm going to be 100% unless AJ's got a different take on this. I have been so preoccupied with Quick U and the Stallions and being a dad. I have been completely checked out of any NASCAR news. I
I'm
don't
the
even know.
same
I
way.
don't even know what it is. I couldn't tell
That
you. That's the Austin. You were breaking news to me. I didn't even know it changed back. So, although
yeah,
AJ and I are both massive NASCAR fans, that tells you there hasn't been
how
a lot of
busy
extra
we've been.
time to get into that. So,
Yeah,
um, apologize for that. But yeah, I have no take. I will look it up though after the show, and then the next show we do, I will cover it. I'll put it on the sheet. All right. Let's get a little NFL. Let's go from the UFL to the NFL. We got the NFC and the AFC title games going on this weekend. We'll start off with the AFC. This is the early game on Sunday. The New England Patriots and Drake May, who has had a phenomenal year. I'm talking about really coming out party for him. Has looked. I
hmm
know you probably got your opinion on it too, but I think he's just played as well as anybody in the league at the position. Um, are traveling to the Broncos with a Bo Nixless uh, Denver Broncos and the Patriots kind of surprised me here when I looked at it. The Patriots are only 4.5 point favorites on the road in Denver. Um, I just don't see a path for. I mean, I'm Jarrett Stidham. I mean, maybe you can. This is. I'm glad to got you on here. I didn't have this written down, but you've been through it. What is he? All right, you got a guy who had. I know you kind of had that. You did this in NFL some too, right? Because you came
hmm
out like your first year after the NFL stuff, like your first year playing, you came in and you played a ton. You played kind of the rest of the season, and then I think you went a year or two before you even got back before you got a chance to really get in. How hard is it from a quarterback in the NFL's perspective, and much less anybody, but particularly in the NFL, for any game, much less an AFC title game? I mean, this guy hasn't taken a snap since 2023, and he's got to go out there and go play. I mean,
Tough. It's tough. I mean, it's not a recipe for success. Now, it also depends. I've been a part of different organizations. Like, I didn't play for Belichick, but Belichick during the season, the twos got reps. Like maybe like the last four of a team period or something. So if that's how Sean Payton does it, then at least Stidham's had some work running their offense. But if not, I mean, you're never running your offense. You're running the scout team offense the entire year. And I mean, to go out, really get, just a week of prep, and try to find tempo and timing with guys that haven't been running scout team all year. Um, I mean that's going to be tough. I'm sure Sean will have a game plan that's very friendly for Jarrett, but um, I like New England in this game. I think New England's playing too well.
Yeah, they're
Um,
hot.
yeah, and even the last game, they had there was a ton of turnovers in that game, but the weather was just horrific. I mean, it was like raining slash snowing. So it made it tricky, but they just find a way to win, which is kind of the same mindset and same way Denver's been all year. But I like New England's offense more in this game.
And the thing, you said this on the show a long time ago, but it just always stuck with me when you said it. And you said that, hey, there's preseason speed, there's regular season speed, and there's postseason speed, right?
Hmm.
And so he's not. I mean, he's got no ramp up, man. He's going straight to he's going straight to it. And I agree with you. I think it may be something I could see him. Sean Payton's one of the best, and I can see him putting together a game plan where they have some early success, and opening script or whatever it is until because New England's the same thing on defense. They're going to have to figure out what the hell they're going to do with him if they're doing something different. But I just think it's one of these games that even if they have some early success, it's going to be very difficult to sustain it throughout the game. I think with Drake May being a guy that can move or land in the pocket, I think that I just think they're going to be too much. I think four and a
Yeah,
half
I
is not
think
enough.
the fact that Jarrett's not the same as Bo from a throwing on the run and all the zone reads and stuff that they can do with Bo and even QB power and QB sweep and stuff like that. So I'm with you on. I think Denver could have a game plan that is probably good for the first quarter, where it probably surprises New England, and that's the best hope you have is that you surprise them enough in that first quarter where you at least get up 2 scores and you can try to maintain that and hold on to that throughout the rest of the game. But if New England figures their scheme out quick, which I would think they're going to give them some easy throws, it's going to be a ton of RPOs, a ton of nakeds and stuff like that to just easy access. Hey, if not, use your feet and get what you can and get down. But I don't know how much of a true drop back passing game they're going to be in a ton, to be
They'll
honest with
probably
you,
have the
until
basics
they
in.
have to.
Yeah, they'll probably have the basics in with four verticals and comebacks and the base stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with you. It's like having a true third down game plan in. It's going to be get the ball out. A lot of
Hmm.
not a lot of true 6-man protection. Probably a lot of quick game and just getting the ball out. But that's when like you start getting they'll figure it out and they'll start rolling on them, squatting on them, and everything else. So
Hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's a the Patriots scored a defensive touchdown in this game. Wouldn't be surprised in the least. So
No, not at all.
all right, second game, Sunday afternoon. The the Los Angeles Rams are traveling for the three-peat of games, traveling to Seattle. Have had the first two games in this series in regular season have been just unbelievable games. They're both 1 and 2 point games, respectively, with the Rams winning one and the Seahawks winning the other one. Been great. Both of them have been great games. But I was talking Monday show. Obviously, wasn't on here. But Monday's show, I was talking about how the Seahawks is interesting in their past so far as they're having to play the 49ers, which was the third time, then turn around and playing the Rams for the third time. You went through this as a quarterback, okay? And I'm gonna get to this point in a minute. Now let's go ahead and start with it. All right, it's one thing, and like you're used to it, probably a little bit, not a little bit. All the NFL organizations are used to playing their division teams twice. How do you all right, how much different is it going from playing a team because y'all had to play Pittsburgh in the playoffs,
Yep.
your second year when you were starting. Okay, now you're having to play them for a third time.
Hmm.
How much different all right, I understand kind of what people do from game one to game two, but now you're going from game two to game three. Kind of what do you do game plan wise and how you prep as a quarterback, knowing that they got to change something, but you don't know what they're going to change kind of deal. You're playing somebody for the third time.
Yeah, it's usually not a ton of changing. I almost view it as um, how when we were at Bama and you were going to play LSU or you were going to play A&M, like you knew what they were going to do. They were good at what they did and they were going to stick to it, and they might add a wrinkle to something. So instead of double A cross dog or off the ball cross dog, now they might add triple A Fonzie blitz in there out of nowhere. But from a coverage standpoint,
We've been
I mean,
talking too long because you and I know exactly what we're talking about, and then everybody else is going, "What was that AAA? What? What was that AAA? What?" Adding the safety. Go ahead.
yeah. Um, and so I think it's little wrinkles like that into the game plan that, hey, here's a pressure. Or if they, in two jet, they've shown this all year, and hey, we're going to bring this weak side deal out of nowhere. But at the same time, these two teams are too good, and they're not going to just change everything up. They're good at what they do. They're going to line up and go play. And listen, I might be crazy, but I really like the Rams in this. They should have won the second one
Oh
at
boy.
Seattle. Um, and
Um,
they kind of fluked that one uh, up
I
a
don't
little
like
bit.
this
So
because we. I don't like this because we agree. I don't like this because we agree. I usually feel better when we disagree, and you make me think because you know your NFL, you're good at the NFL stuff. I, I can't help. Okay, this is dumb of me. I understand this, but I can't help but think about this. Is Sean McVay and his like uncanny ability to have this, when you say second and three in 2007, second three in the second quarter with 7:03 left, and he can tell you the exact play call and what happened. I can't help but think that's an advantage in playing a team a third time.
oh yeah.
I can't help it. And you don't need to give somebody that's elite at their job an advantage. Like if he's got an advantage that you can't do shit about. Like you can't unless he
Hmm.
gets CTE between now and Sunday night. I mean, and the Rams are playing well. I mean, Puka is playing unconscious. Devontae's been playing unconscious. They've been running the ball well with Williams. Like they're good on
Higbee's a great
defense.
player.
What's that?
Higbee,
Yeah,
tight
I
end.
mean,
He's a
they're
great
they're
player.
they're good, man, and they're
Yeah.
playing well. And like, I'm really excited for Devontae because he kind of he kind of gone away for a couple years there and kind of gotten some bad systems or whatever wasn't good for him.
Hmm.
And I think he's one of the best receivers to ever play the game. That nobody wants. Like he never gets the credit that he deserves because he had and just to be 100% transparent, I want to see him be a key factor on a championship team. I mean,
Yep.
when I love his
And he's
game.
done it the right way his whole
Yeah,
career. He's never been a me guy really and truly, like compared to these other receivers around the league that make it about them and they're a distraction the entire time. Like he's really never done that. And he's always stayed out of the media, which I like.
yeah. And then you look at the Seahawks. The Seahawks, what they've done on defense all year, and then what they did with Smith and Jigma and Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold. Yeah.
Sam Darnold. I always call he had the Jets curse, right? As like for whatever reason, the Jets have for the last 15, 20 years, everybody that's really good, that's actually good players go there and they don't do well in New York and that's a
Yep.
tough media market and they get killed and then they'll go somewhere else and have some kind of resurgence and kind of end up being the player that you
Hmm.
want them to be. And like if you really look at it, Seattle has been kind of a second home for these Jets guys with Geno coming to Seattle and playing much better than what he did in New York. And now you got Sam
Yep.
Darnold and people forget, Sam Darnold, people forget how young he is because he feels like he's been around forever because he was damn 19 years old or just had turned 20 when he got to the NFL. Um, and he's been around forever now, but he's still a young guy. Matter of fact, if I told you right now, if you don't know, how old do you think Sam Darnold is? If I told you right now, guess how old Sam Darnold is. What would you say?
33.
Sam Darnold is 28 years old.
Damn.
You
Hmm.
see my point? Like
Yeah.
like how about this?
What year did he come in the league?
Hang on, I'm gonna get you a good one. Hang on a second. Hang on. Let me think of one. But you got these guys that are. I was trying to fill up a quarterback. I was trying to think of an old college quarterback. But you're pulling up these. You pull up these guys like yeah. He was like a baby. He
Chat,
was like
what year did he come in the league?
uh Sam Darnold came in the league and let's see here. Let me pull up his thing here, dog. So Sam Darnold came in the league in 2018. So he's been 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. He's been in the league for 8 years. So he was literally was like had just turned 20 when he came in the league.
Hmm.
Yeah, because
And I didn't realize I was that
is
much
June the
older than him.
5th. So he's gonna be 29 going into his 9th year. His birthday is June. So he was 19. He was basically just turned 20 when he started.
Hmm.
It's wild, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So, but I mean, shit, he's got. So if you think about it, I mean, the guy's just now getting to his. I mean, getting into his prime. You know what I mean?
No, yeah. I mean, he's had a great year. And the one thing that this Rams team has been a curse for him supposedly, and he finally got over the hump with that. The second time they played the Rams this year, but when he was in Minnesota, after going 14-2, and they play him in the playoffs, they lose to the Rams, and then he lost the first matchup this year, wins the second one. It's going to be interesting. I really like the Rams. I think the Rams are just really, really good right now. They're playing well, and they've been playing well all year.
Yeah, I agree. And um, what I don't know, man. I think it's almost like I think the best game. I think it could create a great Super Bowl between the Patriots and the Rams. I think it'd be the best matchup as well. But
Hmm.
um, you know, um, I just think that's where it's going. When you got, and I'm a big Stafford guy too. So,
Yeah,
um,
I love Stafford. He's always been a great dude.
and then I'm kind of partial to the Rams too with Les Snead and all the guys. So, from what I've done in the past and stuff, and I was the NFL liaison forever, right? And all the guys with the Rams, every one of them, whether it be Teddy, Les, any of the guys that were with the Rams were just really good dudes. You know what I mean? And they would come in and hang out and just chill, laid back. And Les is, Les a lot of Auburn connections there, so a lot of connections to Alabama and the state, and just in their success. And he made it popular with fuck them draft picks. So he was trading, getting players to get the good
Hmm.
teams and stuff, and just how they've. I think what Les Snead has done there in LA is truly one of the most impressive things, is because they made their first Super Bowl run by trading away all their draft picks and getting elite players. And then when that period was over, then he turned around and flipped strategies and now drafted and did and made some trades, but didn't give away the draft picks. And I think they've done it both ways in a short period, in a 4 or 5 year time frame. So I think it's
Right.
it's pretty cool, and I'm pull out. That's for the teams that are left. That's who I'm pulling for. All right, going to shift gears here, and we'll shift gears here and get on some recruiting and portal stuff, and then we'll get everybody out of here. I want to get your opinion on some of this stuff. So I think this is hilarious. This kind of peel back the curtain for the fans and stuff I do every day at Quick U. So, now contact period's back, right? And so now coaches are able to go on the road recruiting. And so for 100 years, and AJ, you wouldn't even know this, but let's say you're going, okay, AJ, a coach was coming down from Alabama when you were getting recruited, or it was LSU, or anybody like that would consider Mobile like their area or their territory, their radius. They would come by and see you, okay, but they would also go by, even if they didn't have a player, they would go by Blunt or go by
Right.
Viger and Viger. They all had players, but you get my point. They're gonna go by UMS Wright, and we called those PR stops. Okay, so I'd have, hey, I got these three guys to go see today that we're recruiting. but hey, this school doesn't have anybody that we're recruiting, but I need to go have my face seen, talk to the coach, make sure he knows I'm still recruiting this area. So the next guy that comes through, I got a way to do that. So we call those PR stops. Well, before the portal stuff, okay, you'd be like, damn, you're like, you got shit to do, and you're trying to get in and out sometimes, and sometimes it was a good PR stop, and sometimes it wasn't. And we took like Coach Saban, like he would go like Coach Saban was going to go by UMS right every year to see Terry Curtis whether they had
Right.
players or not, right? So we just
Right.
called those PR stops. Well, it used to be like, okay, we're going to be in and out, whatever, and it wasn't like any set time. And then I have this week, everybody's back on the road, and I got so many calls from coaches. They're like, "You're not going to believe this." He goes, "But do you know what the favorite part of my week is?" I mean, this was like different coaches telling me this unprompted. He goes, "You know what the best part about this week is?" He goes, "It's the PR stops, man. The PR stops are the best part of my week." I was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "It's the only place, because if I'm in the office, I'm having to deal with our players wanting more money or transferring
Right.
or whatever. If I go to a place that has a player, I'm dealing with agents, coaches, how much money they want, and this and that." He goes, "I go to the freaking PR stop, man. It's just we're just sitting back and shooting the shit. They ain't got to tell me about the fucking player they got that wants X amount of dollars. We're just being dudes." And he goes, "It's the
Mhm.
only time in my day that I get to sit with a football coach and may talk ball or whatever, and they don't
Just
have no,
bullshit.
and nobody has an agenda." He said that was the biggest part is nobody has an agenda. We're just gonna go to the PR stop. He goes, "Hell, you can't drag me out." He said, "You couldn't drag me out of a PR stop this week." He goes, "Because it's the only place I could go and it was multiple coaches to saying the same thing. It's the only place I can go that nobody has an agenda." And so it was like it was the greatest damn thing. It was the greatest stop of the week. And he goes. One of them said, I was calling the GM back saying, "Hey, add me some more PR stops." He goes, less of the others. But I thought that was interesting. And then here's what I want to say this. I saw this on like Neal's board. And a lot of things, and because you and I have talked about the difference between rev share and NIL and all that stuff, and there's always been, even though I have been for a year and a half or damn near a year and a half now explaining this, nobody really wanted to listen and understand it because they were like, "Oh, that's not how it works," or whatever it is. There's so many things, and that's kind of part of it for me to talk about on the show all the time. Like I understand when fans or anybody, because I heard you say this on Coach JB's show today, talking about something else, is it's getting to the point to it's not that you don't want to understand, you just don't fucking care anymore. Because
Right.
the rules change so many times, it's like
Mhm.
you don't even want to follow it anymore. Just wake me up when it's over kind of mentality. And one thing that there's a lot of I haven't really explained because it's just when I say, "Hey, the system's broken, the sport's broken," there are a bunch of things I don't even care to explain because you're either not going to care or you're like, "Are you kidding me?" or whatever. Well, one of them is about the portal, right? And Neal has said many times, he's like, "Hey, they're going to end up suing for a second portal window because they went to one portal window." So I want to explain that to everybody. This is when I say the system is broken. This is how the portal works, okay? And this is you're going to laugh when I tell you this. There is one portal window. You agree that we all understand that. However, all you have to do outside the portal window now, so there's that one portal window. So let's say it's spring practice comes and goes. All you have to do is unenroll in school where you're at and go enroll somewhere else, even though the portal's closed.
Like the kid from Wisconsin did.
Yeah. All yet now the
Didn't
trick
he do
that you
that? You know who I'm talking about?
yeah,
Played
but that was in the
corner.
last that was in the
Yeah,
last
that was last year,
rules and
but
shit, right? But with this one portal window, when they made one portal window, all you have to do in the spring is unenroll from your classes or your whatever you're in and enroll somewhere else. Now, the sticky part of it is if you assuming that you're there in the spring, you probably got some kind of rev share deal and a buyout. And so the liquidated damages become the tricky part, right? Around because I think that the CSC, the College Sports Commission, the one thing it's new, but the one thing they're pretty good at so far is when they figure out somebody's got a loophole, they'll close it. And so, assuming they close this loophole, with the buyouts. And so you probably haven't heard me say anything about this, but there's buyouts and liquidated damages, right? Well, right now there's a loophole to where all you have to do is say the player's paying for the buyout. Okay. You let the agent, that player's agent, pay the buyout, and then the collective can pay the agent. So that money doesn't come out of their rev share. If the school pays the buyout, then it comes directly out of the rev share. So in order to save rev share money, you can use your collective if you have money. Some teams have already they're done with their collective, but if you have the money to do that, you can do that. So the biggest issue, whether you're a graduate student and the grad transfers don't matter anymore, it's just unenroll and enroll. The tricky part is your liquidated damages, right? How you pay that. Because if you are paying, if you don't have a collective, okay, or you don't have a way for the player to fund it, then it would come out of your rev share that you've probably already committed. Does that make sense? So
What do you mean by the player fund it? So
so
like
there's a
if a
system called
player's
CAPS.
leaving,
There's a system called CAPS, all right, Collegiate Athletic Payment System, okay? So let's say, AJ, you're at Alabama, you're the quarterback at Alabama. You're playing for Alabama. So when we put in the system, it says there's $500,000 of liquidated damage, whatever your buyout is, okay? And you're going to you would have probably transferred to LSU or Miami back in those days, okay? So let's say you're transferring to Miami. When I'm at Miami and I put AJ McCarron in the system, it's going to tell me that he has a $500,000 buyout. All right, I can click one of two boxes. I can click the player's going to pay the buyout, or the school, us, Miami, is going to pay for the buyout. All right, the trick is you always click player is paying the buyout. So now, because if the school pays the buyout, then that comes out of my cap, out of my rev share. If the player pays it, it doesn't affect my cap. So you get the player to pay it,
which will
allegedly,
come from the agent.
and then the collective can pay the agent a consultation fee or whatever you want to, because it's a separate entity. Does that make sense? You're not paying. There's no NIL go because it's an agent. It's not a player. It's just like paying for office supplies. Okay, and so there's a way around it. Now, I think the College Sports Commission will figure that out and close this loophole, right? But until they do, that's where it's at. All right, so to make a long story short, there is not a second portal window, but there is, if that makes sense. All right, and it's just not a certain time frame.
Right.
And also with that, all right, so there's no second portal window, but there is. But at the same time, you got to have money left in your rev share. Can't have it committed in case they close the loophole, if that makes sense. So you're running a small gamble, but it's a very small gamble. And that's just kind of where we're at right now. And I know I think the one I was responding to with this was something on Neal's board that I was responding to, explaining they were asking about a grad transfer. So, and I said this is reason number, like, there's so many things like that I mean, we would have to have a 700 episode podcast for people to understand all the intricacies of this. Why it's broken and what frustrates coaches is everybody, all your GMs, all the collective people doing they all know all this. Why everybody is so frustrated is because that's just what it is today. Hell, it may change tomorrow. It may go to a whole
Right.
different. You got a whole different set of rules and things that you got to adjust to. So that's what it's. When I say it's broken, that's why I mean it's broken. So it is what it is. Doors rule. How do they get around agent taxes? They don't get around any taxes. You're not hiding that kind of money. They pay them. There's no hiding that money. So they'll include it in the payment or whatever it is to cover those taxes. All right. And this is where I wanted to ask you about too, and what I want to talk to you about is, like, particularly in the southeast United States, we got kind of like four players that are mixed up in this. You got Trinidad Chambliss, who's in his deal with getting the next year. You have Mensa at Duke that's trying to transfer to Miami, but Duke's trying to hold it because he signed an NIL deal. So he's got this other
Hell, what he
contract with
signed
Duke.
for 2 for 8, didn't he?
It was 4 point something per sources for per year. I mean, it was a big
Yeah.
deal. But most of it was pre rev share, right? So a lot of that was other money. And then you got the Princely situation, the jack backer, the outside backer at Ole Miss, pass rusher number one, that's doing the LSU deal that had the whole issue with Ole Miss. And then you
Oh, is
got
he number 1 or number 6?
number one. and then that was TJ Daugherty was number 6. TJ Daugherty signed similar situation. I don't know his. I don't understand. I never saw the contract, so I don't understand all that. But I know he was the one who was very vocal about Lane leaving, and then just left anyway. But
Hmm.
the actual contract issue stuff was with Princely with the buyout and all that stuff. And then you had the Clemson or the Cal linebacker that went to Clemson, didn't sign a rev share deal, but enrolled in classes, then went back in the portal. Now he's enrolled at Ole Miss, like this month. So but I don't think he signed a rev share deal. I don't know that. So you got all these situations, right? And the question for you is, when is enough enough?
We've been past that, son bitch.
But
Hell,
you know what I mean? Like
we've been way past that. I don't know how. I mean, you've dealt with it and ran recruiting and all this shit for years and years. I've played college ball. Been in the NFL for a long time. Like been around the game for a long time. I it's so hard for even me to understand everything that's going on and the shit show it is. I don't know how you bring in an average fan or an average person and make them a fan of college football nowadays,
well,
but
so here's
because
the
of all
thing.
the shit.
Yeah, so I actually got, and that's what I was going to talk about. That is like, all right. The first part is I honestly don't think I would be able to follow it and keep up with it if I didn't have to do it on a daily basis.
All right.
I mean, I had to deal with it daily, like even today, I had to deal with it daily basis. So that's the only way I would keep up with it. But I'm doing it for a job. I mean, like it's our company, right? I mean, it's what we do, and so that's the only way I mean, because the rules change so much. I don't have no idea how. I mean, a casual fan, or not even a casual fan, a diehard fan, or anybody that, or and there's so many people. Like and it's not a criticism. It's just it's the way it is. But like I'm watching the post game of Miami and post game for Miami and Indiana the other day, and they're like, "Hey, will Miami be able to do this every year?" And it was like, well, somebody will go write a big NIL check. I'm like, guys, that ended in July. Like, we're not even on the same system. We're in a whole nother deal, but people are still doing they just now figured out the collective NIL stuff. Well, hell, that's over. We're in a whole nother deal here. And they keep making opinions and all this stuff about, oh, somebody will drop a bag. Well, it doesn't work like that anymore. You can't do that. You have to be creative. Which goes to a point in the chat. T. Walker says, in the Key of Meridian chat, says, I don't know if you guys have spoken on this, but how is LSU allowed to spend $40 million on their roster if the cap is around 20? So the cap's not even close to 20. From a rev share deal, it's 13 and a half, plus or minus a little bit. I know some people are up to like kind of 16, some of them are down to kind of 11, right? So that's in there. 13 and a half is the median. But here's how it happens. And so they front loaded. I got all kinds of shit going on. All these fucking deals I got going on here. All right. So how it works is when they front loaded, they haven't touched their rev share. So they're able to use rev shares on a fiscal year calendar. Okay. So the first part of the year, football season is at the end of the calendar year, but the fiscal year runs in the middle. So by front loading, teams are able to put basically two rev share classes in one. That's how they get that. Two is based on how they front loaded. Did they front load everybody for multiple years, or did they front load one? How they front loaded, which we talked about on the show on Monday. And then the last part is this: is all these numbers that you're seeing on players aren't really the number. Okay, so AJ, if I said, AJ, I'm going to sign you to a 1 year, $8 million contract. Everybody's going to report AJ McCarron's receiving $8 million for 1 year to go play quarterback at Alabama. Okay. But out of my rev share, I may only be paying 1.5 million because I may take 500,000. I'm just throwing out numbers here. I may be taking $500,000 out of your rev share and buying insurance policies on incentives, which is what how like
Mm-hmm.
you remember when like going into your senior year. I know you did because I did it up for you. You did like your injury policy with Lloyd's in London, and you had to
Mm-hmm.
turn in your draft stock and all that stuff, and they give you a premium for your insurance policy. Okay, those
Yep.
same companies, there's a bunch of them. I'm not going to name my names. obviously, because I don't want to affect their business. But a lot of these insurance companies are doing like, so AJ, they're doing for $50,000, we're going to pay you $1 million if you win the Heisman Trophy. Well, they'll go sell that policy to 50 different people, 60 different people. Now they're making $2 million on premiums, but they're only having to pay out 1 million because only one person's going to Heisman. Or hey, getting to the playoffs or winning the national championship. They'll go sell policies for winning incentives for winning a national championship. Well, there's only going to be one national champion. So things like that, right? And so that
Mm-hmm.
add up. If you hit everything, then you may get $8 million, but you're not hitting everything. Um, Carson Beck got a lot of money in incentives in the playoffs. He got one for going to each game, more for going later, and so he made a lot of money in incentives this year. So it just depends. That's how they're doing it. So the actual rev share number that's being spent, they're going to report that he's making $8 million, but he may only be actually they're on the hook for maybe $1.5 million or $2 million of it, if that makes sense. That's how that happens. All right. So, but always says like when enough is enough, right? It is you're starting to see it. We talked about it the other day where you're getting presidents and everybody else coming out and saying anything, but like right now, let's take the Chambliss situation, okay? And let's take the Alabama basketball player that was in the G leagues and shit and came back, and everything that's going on, like from an actual NCAA. I hope Chambliss gets another year because I think he's a great young man. He's a great player. It's good for him and all that stuff. But if you're looking at it from an Ole Miss lens, 100%, you want him to get that eligibility year. But you also have to like, all right, take your glasses off just for a minute. Him getting an extra year is going to set precedent in court to where people are just keep getting years. That's why they're fighting it or trying not to allow it to happen. Because if you give Chambliss a sixth year, what's to stop the next guy from going and using that in court cases as precedent for the next court case? And all of a sudden now you got guys playing 6, 7, 8 years. And then the problem is this is every time one of these gets passed, that's less high school kids getting recruited. Every time
Yep.
you're cutting other people's opportunity. So from an Ole Miss lens, I think it's good for I like the kid. I think he's awesome for the sport. So for me personally, Tyler Siskey, I think it'd be awesome for him to get another year. But then I also sit back for a second and go, but if he does, it's going to create a lot of problems down the road for everybody else.
Yep.
But we're right now, and like the same thing happened with I mean, when he filed the court case in Lafayette County, and for those that aren't listening from the city of Oxford, Lafayette County is the city that Oxford is located in. Like, if this judge doesn't grant an injunction, there's going to be some upset people in this town. I mean, somebody got mad at me a couple years ago and knocked my mailbox down for something I said. So I can't imagine, there's probably going to be some upset people. And now the Alabama guy gets the injunction in Tuscaloosa County. And like,
Mm-hmm.
so
And
are we
it's ridiculous because I just had an Alabama fan, a guy I went to school with. I like the guy. Said, and he tried to compare Charles Bediaco to this. He said, Indiana just completed the underdog story of our lifetime with a roster with an average age of 23 years old. Charles is, you guessed it, 23. We can't applaud and crown Indiana for doing it at a scale to the tune of a whole roster's average age while simultaneously making Charles public enemy number one. That's not even the same scenario. None of Indiana's players,
besides the age?
yeah, none of Indiana's players entered the NFL draft, signed with an NFL team, played multiple games for or multiple organizations like Charles, and then said, you know what, it's not working out for me. I'm gonna go back to college and play because I didn't finish out all my years. Like, that's not even the same scenario. What the hell are we talking about?
Like, I
Like,
don't know what
I'm an
happened.
Alabama fan. Everybody knows that, but like, I'm also going to call when something ain't right. I'm going to say bullshit. Like, it's not right. Like, you can't have such big crimson glasses on that you can't even see the truth and to point out that, hey, this is an issue. right? Like it's with the Trinidad deal. Like I hope Trinidad gets another year just because one, I think it'll help him. I don't know. I don't think he's ready for the NFL. I think he
No,
needs
I
to
agree.
develop his game. But at the same time, like eh, if you're an Ole Miss fan, you can't be mad if it gets turned down. If you want to be truthful about college sports and help get college sports back to what it used to be, like we have to at some point say, okay, enough is enough. You get 5 years. Like it doesn't matter if you go D2, it doesn't matter if you go JUCO. Like we can't have all these different set of rules for just everybody and anybody. Like it's an absolute circus. It's a shit show.
Yeah,
Like
and you got two
what are we
different deals
talking
here
about?
too, right? It's like the Trinidad thing is more like the Trinidad case is more of like it's all college, right? But the what I'm having a just like the people who are fighting the G League stuff and the pro stuff, I really like, okay, I can at least hear your argument and understand the Trinidad stuff. Okay.
Right.
The G League stuff, like, brother, you went, you tried, like, and everybody knows this. I mean, you went through it your junior year. Like, you got to sit down and go, you got to sit down and you got to go, am I going professional? And once you declare professional, you're amateur, and it's but that's the deal. That's how they're fighting it. Is it's not really amateur anymore, but you lost your
Right.
amateur status.
Just say
And
college rights are gone.
yeah, you got to use your, but they're using, again, shocker. I know this is going to surprise you, but again, this is where I get irritated. And when I said this on Neal's board, it's reason number 400,219 of why I'm frustrated. Is one of the biggest issues that the NCAA has right now is they will go and, like, this rule right here, they'll change something, but they don't change the things that go with it. So they still say
Right.
amateur status. And so the courts are hammering this amateur thing. And all they had to do was say, hey, it's not amateur anymore. You just what you said, you lose your college status instead of saying amateur. Because they when you start talking to lawyers and court system about the difference between amateur and pro, you're gonna lose. But anyway, that's just I
I
get
thought
frustrated with
Coach
that.
Cal said it best. Calipari uh, for Arkansas said, "Listen, you get 5 years to play four. If you stay all 4 years at the same school, then you get that fifth year. We'll give you a fifth year just because you stayed with them and you fought through it. And maybe you're in a Ty Simpson situation. Say this was Ty's last year and he had sat for 4 years and you finally get your chance to start. Okay. Like that's understandable. If a coach gets fired or he leaves, then you get the choice to transfer because you came to play for that coach, right? Like you have a relationship with him. If he leaves, gets fired, whatever the case may be, you can transfer. If the next coach gets fired, that's the only time I can see a transfer. Like that's the only time they should be allowed to transfer. If you transfer without your coach getting fired or without him taking another job and getting hired somewhere else, you have to sit out. Like you'd solve so many issues with that, and then also just say, listen, you get 5 years. You get 5 years of playing college ball. It doesn't matter, and you would solve the issues as well.
So the thing for me is, like, and I've always said this, is like, because I've had different solutions as we've moved the goalposts through the years. And if I was the commissioner tomorrow, because the one thing that people aren't talking about that bothers me, and again, this is me, this is my opinion. You may not even give a shit. I don't even know. I won't, regardless of when the collective bargaining and antitrust, which we'll talk about at some point in time, it can't happen within the NCAA. It has to be a separate deal. I've discussed that to nauseum.
Mhm.
But I personally would hate to see the education model leave it. These kids aren't graduating,
No,
and I don't
hell, their
know, like,
credits aren't even transferring.
and what's crazy to me is, like, we got this thing called APR, right? That's supposed to, like, monitor, like, it's called, and it stands for academic progress rate. And the
Hmm.
NCAA was really stickler on it, right? Like, if you drop below this, then you're on penalties and all that stuff. And what's happened is again, a shocker. There's loopholes in this deal, right? And so some teams have this really high APR, and you're like, oh, their kids are graduating. No, they're not. They figured out a way to finagle the system. So, like, I'll give you one example: is you can go, let's say, like, AJ, let's say you left after your third year and you hadn't graduated yet. Okay. Well, I could bring, and let's say you were like one semester shy of graduating. I could call you up at 33, 34, 35 years old and say, "Hey, AJ, come back, get your degree. I'm going to pay for it. And once you graduate, I get a bonus point." And so they're going back, like, I'm talking about like to the 80s and 90s and filing guys that didn't graduate. They're paying for them to come back to school. And then they're adding that bonus point on top of their APR to jump it up. And then you got teams like, I think it was Kent State or Akron, one of the two, that was on bowl ban this year. They're punishing some teams for not having APR. Like, these kids aren't graduating.
Yeah.
Because when you, and I mean, most people understand how this works because they may have transferred as a regular student. You don't carry all your stuff over. Does that make sense? There's my man
Mm-hmm.
Neal. Neal's maybe in a car by now. Oh no, he's probably there. He got there like 1:30. He says, "Thanks, AJ, for filling in today. I appreciate you." So Neal shot you a shout out from Neal. Hope you got.
Anytime.
Well, he got there at 1:30. It's 3:02. So Neal has made it to Vietnam. He's made it. He's in there. He's good. He's got it. He's there. Now we just got to get him in the car to beat the ice storm on the way back. Make sure put
Yeah,
that bitch in
I
four-wheel drive.
like Real Wicked Brew also said, or if somebody graduates
And so
and
for
then
that
they
was for
can
me. So what I
transfer.
was saying is, if I was commissioner tomorrow with the current status we got now, I would like the education model to be in there. If you sign with a school, by God, you're at that school until you graduate. When you graduate, go be a freaking free agent all you wanted to be. If
Mm-hmm.
you wanted to graduate before then, the only way you would be eligible is if the coach got fired, or if you transferred. Let's say I go there a year and I'm upset and I want to transfer because I'm not playing, mama. The coach was mean to me. All right, then you have to sit out a year before that. And then the other thing I would do is to on this buyout stuff and liquidated damages. The first thing I would do is like, okay, if my guy's got a 500, if he signed a contract and he's got a $500,000 buyout, I don't give a shit how you pay it, but you're losing $500,000 on your cap. And then the team that he lost, that because it's just like the in the NFL you do compensatory draft picks, right? So the team that lost, that's getting the 500,000, gets to add that to their cap. So instead of 13.5, they got 14, and the team that he's going to has got 13. That's how I would do it,
Mm.
and replace the draft when you had the compensatory rounds and all that stuff, and you got
Right,
restricted
right.
versus like, that's how I do it. But let's don't use the NFL as a model because it's only the best professional sports organization in the history of time. But let's don't look at that. Let's don't look at that. All right. Last thing I want to get to you, then we'll get out of here. One of the big things about the portal that nobody talks about is the lack of development in players. And what I mean by
Phew.
that is this: is it happens a lot. You see it, offensive line play is one, because you're going from, okay, I'm at school X and they teach a different kinds of protections, different techniques. We may be strictly all zone there, and I'm going to this team that's heavy gap scheme, whatever it is. But you're losing, but you spend that time there and you don't know how to do what the new school's doing. And so you have to learn. You're starting over from a technique standpoint and all that. And so the development takes a hit. Same thing with quarterbacks, right? So as
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's like, hey, I'm a quarterback and we're a full concept team and I'm straight progression, everything. And all of a sudden you go somewhere that's a combo team and you may be one high, two high, and then you may get to one that's, combo and progression, right? So you're starting over basically mentally. And so these development, as the more these kids transfer, the less and less they're getting development, and that's why you're having a development problem. My question to you is this: how long before the lack of development in college becomes an NFL problem? And
I think it's I
is the
think it already
quarterback
is.
position this year's draft class an indication of the development issues with the portal?
100%. I think it's already an issue. I think when you look at rookies and just younger quarterbacks in the NFL now, I mean, it's shocking. And talk to anybody in the league, and there's starters out there, whether the coaches say it or not, but we all know enough people in organizations and have had talks with people. And hell, me and you interviewing O line coaches for our team. And these are dudes that have been starting in the NFL for a while now that came from this era of college football, and they still don't understand protections.
Oh, no
And
clue.
none. Like I couldn't imagine playing the quarterback position and not knowing what the hell the protection is, what everybody has to do, who's the mic, who are we hot off of, what's my solution if they bring this, how can I fix it, what's the code word, am I Rip Lizen, am I Ralph Larry, am I Ringo Lucky, or am I Rita Linda? Like I couldn't imagine. Or do I need to flipper the protection? Do I need to hop the back? Do I need to say, hey, we're hot off one? Or we hot off two? I I
You
couldn't
were
imagine.
you were in a very unique situation too. Um, your high school coach, he was a fucking asshole. But your high school coach, you were exposed to protections at a very young age. Okay. And I'm gonna say this too. You're different. I just coaching you are much more cerebral than any quarterback I've dealt with. Okay. One, because you took an interest in it, but you took an interest in it because you were like, your whole mindset, even at 14 years old, your whole mindset was, if I'm getting my ass hit, I want it to be my fault.
Right.
And so I think that mindset made you learn things faster, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we were doing all that stuff at an early age. And now, and then you went to college in a pro system, okay? That shout out Joe Pendry. So, Joe Pendry's system that he brought from the NFL, he'd been doing for 30 something years. And it's one of the funny things I always love about everybody talking about the coordinators at Alabama. Like, you can take a playbook, okay? Alabama's had the same damn playbook from the history of time. Offense when Nick
Since
Saban was
Saban's
there.
been there. Yeah.
And of all the coordinators he had, they didn't go and put their playbook in. They learned it. Now they may call things differently. Like if I dropped the playbook that we have right now for the Stallions and I gave it to somebody else, they're still going to run the same plays. Now they may run it differently and run some different pictures of it and, make the pictures different or whatever it is. Or they may add some motions to get the same routes. But every single coordinator at Alabama ran the same terminology, the same playbook. All right. And it was a pro style system. And then, kind of in the late 2000s, early 2010s, particularly in the SEC, and you may know this or may not know this, I don't know, but I remember going into the defensive staff room at Alabama, and there was this thing as the University of Alabama's defense was in regular personnel in 2000, and this had been 2011, I think. So I think this is the year that y'all played
We won
LSU.
it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think y'all were there from 2000 and it was in regular personnel with basically a Jack and a Sam, two outside backers,
Mm-hmm.
like 70 something percent of the time. The very next year, because that was the year that Hugh came in the league, Gus came in the league, Kevin Sumlin came in the league, and it
And
went
it was
more of a
also based
spread.
off of it was also based off of who we lost because you got to think in 2011 off of that national championship team, we lost Dante Hightower, who played Jack, and then Courtney Upshaw, and then you went to smaller linebackers like C.J. Mosley, um, Trey, and other guys. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you
shout out
had
to
to,
Reggie Ragland's the last real Mike of the 3-4 ever.
yeah.
But or last and so they went to 70 something percent sub or for the people out there nickel
Mm-hmm.
personnel, and it kind of stayed because everybody's so spread and then RPO heavy and everything like that. The league kind of changed, right? So you were kind of in the era of change, and then when everybody started playing fast, okay, when you're playing fast, people started building in hots and just setting like I was telling you, they would build in the hots. The quarterback would know which side he had hot from. And so if he had the hot was coming from the left, they would play fast, didn't give a shit where the mic was, and just set the protection to the right and let, if it was a Roger or Larry Reed Elise or whatever it was, they'd let the center handle it and snap as fast as they could because he knew that he was protected from the left side, if that makes sense. So
Mm-hmm.
the game kind of changed, but the problem is that the NFL game hasn't changed.
Right.
And so these quarterbacks are getting it's kind of the old, I always joke, it's kind of about the under center and in shotgun scenario in college now. Hell, you go get a guy and tell him to go under center now in college. He's never been under center a day in his life. He's 18, 19, 20 years old. You try to get him in a huddle. They don't even know what a huddle looks like. You have to
Mm-hmm.
teach them what a huddle like. So things that you assume they knew, what assuming will do, but you have to teach them those things. And so, but I think when you're seeing with the quarterbacks, particularly and now you've added that extra element of, hey, if I stay in college another year, I'm getting more money, and then you're getting more exposure to change. You're encouraging lack of development in that.
Yep.
And so
Yep.
think about this: who are the young, really good quarterbacks in the NFL right now? Just give me the names. Let's say under
I mean,
25.
shit. I don't know. I'd have to see age. Um, I mean, young. I would still consider Herbert
Okay, did
young.
Herbert transfer or did he stay in the same system?
Believe same system.
Next,
Josh Allen,
did he
same
transfer
system.
or stay in the same system?
Same system.
Wyoming. Next, Drake May,
Huh.
same system.
Yeah, same system.
And so the only one, to my knowledge, the only one that's starting, I was thinking about this today, the only one that's starting that didn't transfer, uh, that did transfer is Cam Ward.
Yeah.
I think everyone else that's starting in the NFL had the same system. I could be wrong, but if I'm wrong, I'm not wrong by much. I think Cam Ward is the only quarterback that bounced around.
Or at least if they transferred, they got 2 years somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, but that's what I mean. I
I
think
mean,
Allen
because
was a
Joe,
JUCO
like
guy.
Burrow, got 2 years at LSU.
Yeah.
Um,
But he was in pro systems in both
oh yeah.
from a protection
Um,
standpoint.
yeah. I mean, it's nuts, dude.
Yeah, they're
I
naming
mean,
Bo Nix and stuff. Yeah, but what we're saying is they had multiple years in the same system. There are no
in
like
the
one
same
year jump
system.
guys.
Yeah.
Multiple years in the
Um,
same system. Chad, I know what y'all are saying. Multiple years in the same system. So I think that has a lot to do with it. But
no, listen. The development because, and this is how I kind of view our league. Right, is it's our job because we want to simplify things, but we're also we get credit off of getting dudes to the league. And I think our league could do the same thing where we're doing these guys a disservice to where if we're not challenging them mentally to learn a pro style offense and some of the lingo and everything, like we're hurting ourselves because now is it our job to win ball games? Yes, but it's also more than anything our job to develop talent in this league to get them to the next level. That's how this league survives. Like they Rapoli and everybody involved doesn't want to see the same players for a 4 or 5 year stretch. Like they want guys like, okay, 3 years and then boom, or 1 year and they're on to the NFL. So like that's another thing is like even from we're kind of a college deal. I mean, minor league system as well, to where I mean we coaches in our league and in college, you got to develop these guys to get them ready for the NFL, or at least to where they have an idea. Um, and I just think from a quarterback standpoint, like truly understanding the position and what it takes to be a quarterback at a high level, there's just none of these dudes understand it. Like they have a ton of talent, and yes, you can run around and make plays. That's great in college. That shit don't happen in the pros. You got to understand protections.
run
You
around
got
and
to
get your hip broke.
understand right. Like you got to understand where the ball needs to go on time. It's very few dudes that can run around and still make shit happen. And you look at those guys, they still haven't been very successful from a sense of winning the ultimate goal and winning a Super Bowl. Like I love Lamar. I think Lamar's a hell of a player. I mean, he's what 2 time or I think 2 time MVP. But that's one of the reasons, that Baltimore I feel like has not won in the playoffs and won it all is because of that. Like when it comes late to the season and you have to be able to throw the ball and stand in the pocket, and when the weather's shitty and everything, like people will tell you Lamar didn't change protections for years. And he might do it every once in a while now, but he's still like they call it and go, and then they just let his athletic ability take over to where you got to make this guy miss. He's coming free, and that's not a successful. That's not a good recipe for success. It's just
A
not.
failure to plan is a plan to fail.
Yeah,
Shout out, shout out, shout out, Kevin Steele.
and I just and you can see it in all these quarterbacks. Yeah, I think it's partly why this quarterback class this year, and you know, I think it's going to stay that way. Where it's just it's not successful for these guys. I don't know how they're going to be successful in the NFL unless they're just surrounded by really good teams, which might
Possibility,
happen to
but
one dude.
yeah, not going to be the norm for sure.
Right.
All right, before we get out here, AJ, as you know, because I've sent to you there, Snoop says hello. He's up here running around. We got a snowpocalypse coming.
Yeah.
We got a snowpocalypse coming. Um, if you are in the Northeast Mississippi or where your boy's located in Oxford, Mississippi, we are in ground zero for the latest by my good friend James Spann, who is the best weatherman of all time. Shout out James Spann. In ground zero for ice. I don't think we'll get any snow. It's not gonna be fun, but ice. So everybody, please be safe. I was telling AJ about my ventures yesterday, trying to go get things to prep for the because it's not about if your power's going out, it's when and for how long. Those are the questions, not if. So everybody, please be safe where you're at.
Yeah.
Please do not think that because look, we have a problem here in the South, AJ. We all got these four-wheel drives, and we don't ever get like a chance to put it in four low. You know what I mean? And we all think that ice and snow, the once a year or once every 2 years, is the time to do it. Please be smart out there, and make sure you're prepared. Don't get on the roads unless it's absolutely necessary, because you will not beat the ice even in four low. Be
No.
smart. Snow's
Listen,
okay.
the snow is fine, but somebody that was in Buffalo and Cincinnati, that ice, that ain't no joke. I was going down the interstate one time. This is early in Cincinnati in my career, and a section was iced over. And dude, I was. This is when I had that Mercedes contract, and I was in this G wagon, and this heavy ass tank all of a
Rough
sudden
life.
starts
Somebody's got to
starts
do it.
going sideways on me, and I'm holding the brakes and I'm tapping them. There's nothing I could do. I was just along for the ride. I mean, it was insane. I thought for sure. I'm like, well, this is how I go right
Yeah.
here.
Stacy in the chat says, "Enjoy your milk sandwiches." Yeah, I've never understood this. I really, we need to have like a. I've gotten into where like I'm genuinely curious about the psychology of the brain. Sometimes, like I'm trying to figure out why milk and like bread is the only thing, like the first thing that goes right. Milk and bread. Like I can come to my house. Like I got three boys that live here. My wife eats she eats all kinds of sandwiches and stuff. So not having bread in my house is a weekly occurrence. Like there are other ways to get yourself nutrition besides milk and bread. You know what I'm saying? Like there's water, there's pasta, you can get your carbs from I mean, there's so many different ways, right? I mean, you can fry up some bacon, like eggs. Like I will go weeks without eating an egg. But all of a sudden, you go to the grocery store right now, it looks like there's a zombie apocalypse on bread, milk, and eggs, and it's the only time. It's the only time. So what that tells me is when it's not snowing, nobody buys it. So if it's not something that you do normally, why would you feel the need to do it all? Like I don't even like it blows my mind. And I don't. I'm genuinely like I want meat, freaking whatever it is, and if it can't go on a grill, I don't want. Like I would be like, I want hot dogs, hamburger. If we out of we
Right,
can do it on a grill. Like it's
right.
amazing to me, man. But like it was you would have thought that somebody let go of like we had World War Z. You seen that movie with Brad Pitt,
Yeah,
World War Z?
yeah.
You would think that they cut loose the people in Tupelo and Holly Springs and Batesville and Water Valley, and they were all converging on Oxford. You couldn't find you. It's insane. Like you can't like shelves are just gone of bread, milk, and eggs. And I'm like, guys, I mean, you can go get you some spaghetti tonight, some pasta and tomato sauce. Boil some water. If you can boil water, you can make pasta. Like, how about this? Check this out. You go on your gas grill or your charcoal grill and you put a big ass pot on top of it. The water will boil. You drop some pasta in it. We got spaghetti. You know what I mean? Like they'll get you some red sauce, or some white sauce if that's your thing. Hey, you got spaghetti. You don't have to have like milk and freaking bread. I mean, it's okay. And then here's the other thing, AJ. This was my other fascination. So the sandwich bread would be gone, right? They'd have hamburger buns.
Yeah,
Do you know what a hamburger bun is?
bread.
It's bread with like crust around the top. Make you a peanut butter jelly sandwich if you're that desperate.
Right.
But it'd be damn rows of damn hamburger buns. Like it's woo. Anyway, common sense. We don't have that shopping, but AJ, it's gonna get cold here. Really cold, really cold. And you know what? Maybe
Mhm.
you're not serious about your health, AJ. And maybe you don't have time for a doctor's visit or a confusing lab report. So listen up. Prime is a modern at home lab testing kit that puts you in control. You can get your kit at getprime.com. That's GETPRYM.com. And you can collect your sample from home in just a few minutes. You can get clear, personalized results right in your private dashboard. There's no needles, there's no waiting rooms, and no hassles. It doesn't matter if you're trying to check your hormone levels, your energy levels, metabolism, or just your overall wellness. Prime makes it fast, easy, and actionable. So go to getprime.com, pick out your kit, whatever you need. Make sure you enter the promo code MPW at checkout. You're going to get 20% of your first order. That's right. Go to getprime.com and check them out. We're also brought to you by AJ's official golf partner and the official paint and body shop of McCready and Siskey. Who is that, you may ask, AJ? That's Thompson's Paint and Body Shop, located right in the heart of Saraland, Alabama, where the work's honest, family-friendly atmosphere are looking to take care of you just like friends and family. So for over 35 years, the Thompson family, Don Jr., and Matthew Thompson, have been taking and fixing cars with care, quality, and personal touch that you just won't find with that big chain, AJ. Where the corporate guys are chasing numbers, what's Thompson doing? They're focused on what matters. That's taking care of their neighbors one repair at a time. So check them out at Thompson's Paint and Body Shop. You can go to thompsonsbodyshop.com. You can check them out on Facebook or give them a call at area code 251-675-0884. That's 251-675-0884. And they will get you taken care of no matter where you're located. And AJ, as always, we're brought to you by our good friends at Rain Total Body Fuel. 300 milligrams of natural caffeine, BCAAs and electrolytes, and zero sugar because it's got what you need to push the limits and achieve your goals. So check them out at Rain Total Body Fuel to learn more. For my main man, the three-time world champ, the three-time national champ, and the head coach of the Birmingham Stallions, AJ McCarron, I'm Tyler Siskey, and we will see you Monday. Take care.